Hi, this is Dawn Wells. Guess what we're listening to? TV Confidential.
Of a great young chief of the Blackfoot and of a white girl. I was that girl, and the Blackfoot chief was called Winterhawk.
Ed Robertson welcoming you back to TV Confidential, radio talk show about television, and is pleased to welcome back Mr. Michael Dante, an actor who learned his craft during the last days of the golden age of Hollywood and the early days of the golden age of television, and who went on to appear in hundreds of films and TV series over the past 5 decades, the most important of which is the title role in Winterhawk, the classic Western from 1975 that continues to reach audiences today. Michael played Winterhawk as a spiritual man, portraying his strength of body, mind, and spirit while standing up against those who had their own agenda. If you have seen Winterhawk, you know that the ending of the movie left a few questions that remain unanswered until now. Michael Dante has recently published an original novella called Winterhawk's Land that continues the story of this brave Native American warrior who stood up for his people even as the invasion of progress imposed itself on America. We'll tell you more about Winterhawk's Land in just a second. First, Michael Dante, welcome back to our program.
Thank you, Ed. It's a pleasure to be back. Nice to hear your voice again.
Nice to hear your voice as well. You know, I know because I read your memoir, Michael Dante, From Hollywood to Michael Dante Way. I know how important Winterhawk continues to be for you. It is more than just the role of a lifetime. It triggered a passion, an interest in Native Americans and that period of American history. How long have you wanted to tell this story, Winterhawk's Land?
Well, the many years after the completion of the film and the distribution of the film, which was critically very, very, very strong and popular and positive at the box office, made a lot of money. In lieu of I had a small percentage of the profits. In lieu of the money I had received, I purchased the sequel rights and all the ancillary rights in perpetuity. Charles B. Pierce did not want to do a sequel, and of course I wanted to continue the life of Winterhawk and what happened with his life after the Clayana came off and left her people and her culture to live with, and of course in ceremonially marriage to Winterhawk, and have a son and continue their life as the people, as they were called, the people, the Blackfoot Nation, thereafter. So I wanted to continue that life span and what that was like, because the many perils that they were facing, aside from hunger and diseases and the railroad coming through their territory and possibly creating a genocide. So Winterhawk, I wanted the people to learn what he did about deterring the railroad. We know that historically the Native Americans did not stop the white man and the railroad people and the government because they had the government's approval and the military to support them, to take 10 miles on each side of the track through their hunting grounds. Now, it was very unfortunate, and of course in the novella, during the course of the story, Winterhawk went to hear what the Iron Horse, the railroad, was doing at the time. He had never seen a railroad car, or did not see any of the laying of the tracks and what was going on at the time, that they learned thanks to Clayana, because she was a teacher. She taught them the language and was very, very instrumental in of course, in he learning the ways of the white man, and he spoke the language very well. when they united, he spoke well. He understood the ways of the white man and began to learn about the politics and the military, what they were doing during that period of time, or had to do, in order to, in the white man's terms, to progress and migrate from one coast to the other. And the railroad, they believed, of course, and we know, it was faster than the horse, and they were able to ship and move about and circumvent all the mountainous and the perils of the wagons and the slow movement of the migration of the people that wanted to go from one coast to the other. So the book has all of these things. Ed, we can appreciate what he has learned in speaking the language and being able to communicate what was going on after he viewed the laying of the railroad tracks for the first time, and comes back to express what was going on with the white man and the progress of the railroad through their homeland and their hunting grounds. And of course, during the course of his viewing of what was going on, he was heartbroken and knew that they were in deep trouble when he found the carcasses of the buffalo that were just absolutely left behind for sport. The white man did not kill the buffalo for food or clothing or shelter, just for sport, and knew that that would be the end of his people if that continued, because the annihilation of the buffalo would mean the end of the Blackfoot Nation. So it's all in the book, and I wanted to share this passion that I had and had the privilege. I want to share this with the audience. So maybe 0.5% of all the actors that ever lived had the good fortune and the opportunity to play a title role. Mm-hmm. So in playing the title role, Winterhawk, I was very privileged and proud to play this character. And he wasn't written as a religious man. I brought that to the story, my contribution as an actor, to bring as many things, to create nuances, sensitivity, and intelligence to a screenplay. And one of my choices was to make him a spiritual man, which I believe the Blackfoot Nation and Native Americans believe tremendously in the Almighty, and they all practice their believing and wanting to maintain that culture throughout. And it was very unfortunate that they were so disappointed in the lack of the decency and honor and the love of the land, the water, the territory of the white man. They didn't have the same belief in the earth and the river and the sky and the sun, and all of the elements were a part of their people and their life. So this was something that I wanted to maintain and share in the novella, the storyline, and I think I succeeded in telling the truth. It's fiction and nonfiction, and it's a great action love story and revenge of the people, the Blackfoot Nation, against the railroad and the military, who were hell-bent on taking whatever they wanted, which, as I stated before, 10 miles on each side of the track without even negotiating. So it's a journey for the Blackfoot Nation and Winterhawk, and the contributions that his white woman, love of his life, Clayana, who left her culture and family to live with him and and they have a son, and that love story is throughout. The ways of the people, their approach to military tactics, and all of the elements that make for a good yarn. And it's both fiction and nonfiction. It's a part of history. As we know, the railroad did go through the territory from one coast to the other, but we know that in this novella, Winterhawk's Land, that Winterhawk did not stop them completely.
No, he didn't stop it.
He detained them for a number of years.
Yeah.
And of course, we know the railroad succeeded because of the military strength, and the numbers of the white men superseded the Blackfoot Nation population.
We're talking to actor and author Michael Dante. Michael's latest book, Winterhawk's Land, is a sequel to the classic Western film from 1975, Winterhawk, in which Michael played the title role. Winterhawk's Land tells the story of Winterhawk's effort to stop an unscrupulous railroad magnate from building a railroad on Blackfoot Indian territory. The novella also features original sketchings from artist David Powell, the son of Ace Powell, the actor who played Winterhawk's father in the 1975 movie. Winterhawk's Land is available wherever books are sold through Bear Manor Media. You can order an autographed edition of Winterhawk's Land directly from Michael Dante himself. To find out how to do that, go to michaeldanteway.com, michaeldanteway.com. We'll take a quick time out, then we'll continue our conversation with Michael when we come back for hour number 2 of TV Confidential. Stay with us.
If you haven't been listening to TV Confidential, this is who you're missing.
Shirley Jones,
Diane Baker,
Bobby Hall, Channing Chase, Charlene Tilton, Cherie J. Wilson, David Franco, Peggy King, Shelley Morrison, Karen Kardashian, Joanne Worley,
and many, many more of your favorite celebrities and people behind the scenes in the world of television. That's TV Confidential. Every week on this station and every day online at tvconfidential.net.
If you've listened to TV Confidential and like what you've heard, please consider supporting our efforts by becoming a patron of our show through Patreon. How does Patreon work? Patrons agree to make a small donation to their favorite content creators every time they release new content. In exchange, we continue to provide new content while offering you rewards in return. In a way, it's like giving a tip, plus it provides value for value. So if you liked this week's guest or learned something about your favorite show that you did not know before, please consider supporting our efforts for as little as $1 a month. If you can afford more than $1 a month, you can donate at that level as well and receive some cool rewards. For just $5 a month, for example, you can download up to 6 programs from the TV Confidential archive store absolutely free. For $10 a month, you will receive a sneak preview of our guest interview every week before anyone else hears it. For more information, go to patreon.com/TV Confidential or click the Patreon button on the homepage at tvconfidential.net.
Accredited by Guinness World Records, welcome to Archival Television Audio Incorporated, a peerless TV soundtrack archive, preserving the audio from television's first 3 decades, the 1950s, 60s, and 70s, the golden and silver age of television.
For more information, go to atvaudio.com. Ed Robertson here to tell you how you can get a free first ride with Uber, the mobile app that connects you with the ride at the touch of a button in just a matter of minutes. Uber has drivers in cities across the country and around the world, while payment is seamless and cashless. To download the app, go to uber.com and enter the promo code TV Confidential, all one word, and you will receive a free first ride up to $20. To sign up directly with the promo code included, go to get.uber.com/go/TV Confidential, get.uber.com/go/TV Confidential.
This portion of TV Confidential is brought to us by our friends at Front Porch Realty Group, the community of realtors in the Northern Bay Area of California that is committed to finding the solution that is best for their clients. Whether you're a first-time home buyer or looking to sell or lease your property in Northern California, call 415-886-7411 or visit frontporchrealtygroup.com for more information on how they can help you.
This is Jonathan Goldsmith, and you are listening to TV Confidential.
Ed Robertson, author, guest actor, and author Michael Dante. Michael's latest book, Winterhawk's Land, is a sequel to the classic Western film from 1975, Winterhawk, in which Michael played the title role. Winterhawk's Land tells the story of Winterhawk's effort to stop an unscrupulous railroad magnate from building a railroad on Blackfoot Indian territory. The novella also features original sketchings from artist David Powell, the son of Ace Powell, the actor who played Winterhawk's father in the 1975 movie. Winterhawk's Land is available wherever books are sold through Bear Manor Media. You can order an autographed edition of Winterhawk's Land directly from Michael Dante himself. To find out how to do that, go to michaeldanteway.com, michaeldanteway.com. Okay, working backwards a little bit. You mentioned the nuances that you brought to the character Winterhawk when you played him in the movie. You added a spiritual element in addition to his innate intelligence. In a way, as you just alluded to, as you gave our listeners an idea of the backstory of Winterhawk's Land, Michael, if it's possible, you made Winterhawk even smarter, because you may not be able to stop progress, but as you alluded, you may be able to impede it if you understand the other side, and that's one of the main additions that you made to the character in the novella.
Yes, with the help of Cleanna, the white woman. Those of you who have not seen Winterhawk, by the way, Ed, they could see it on YouTube. It's free.
Yes.
There's no charge. Mm-hmm. And see the movie first, and then purchase the novella, Winterhawk's Land, and it would be a lot easier and more fun in following the story, and certainly easier to follow the story to the bitter end. But thanks to Cleanna, the character from Winterhawk, the original movie, she, as I have stated before, she comes off with me in the end of the movie Winterhawk, and we were living a beautiful life together, and had a son. And when the railroad came into the picture, so to speak, she was able to educate him about the railroad, what it meant to the white man to bring people and supplies and, as she stated, medicine and materials from one coast to the other much faster than the horse and wagon. Mm-hmm. And he understood their plight, but did not understand and would not accept them killing the buffalo for sport, when he knew that that would impair the survival of his people. And of course she did, she understood, and that's where they gather their thoughts, and she communicates rights to the president, and does get results, finally, a hearing with the military and the railroad in the end of the story, so that it's without question very simple to understand their plight, that the buffalo meant everything. And in the end of the book, the novella, Ed, I have a diagram of the buffalo and all of the parts of the buffalo that the Native Americans used. Every bone in the body and the hide and the hoofs, from the head to toe, the materials that they were able to use in their domestic life, yeah, and for survival, aside from food, clothing, and shelter, the so many parts of the body that were so intelligently and cleverly used in their culture, in everyday life. So the heartache and the lack of understanding of the white man killing and not Winterhawk could understand them killing the buffalo for the same reason, food, clothing, and shelter, but he could not, and his heart was heartbroken, and he had to certainly do something about it to stop the killing of the buffalo for sport. So all of this is in the novella, and thanks to the intelligence of Cleanna, who was educated and was a teacher in her world prior to coming with Winterhawk and living their life, she was such a tremendous influence and a love becoming a important part of their survival and their communication. She did all the writing and taught Winterhawk how to read as well as speak the language and understand what was going on with the government and the railroad and migration. And she is a very important character in the story. And it continues to, throughout the piece, to challenge when they, when they just ruthlessly try to plot and kill him. If they can kill him because they can't deal with him, they were able to bribe some of the other chieftains from other tribes, but they weren't able to bribe him. And therein lies the conflict. The railroad versus Winterhawk and his people. And it's all about survival, and it's really a wonderful action, a love story about revenge as well. So it's all in the book, and I'm so proud of the halves, and we're doing very well so far in selling the books. And I've got half a dozen venues or more to do between now and the first of the year. So we'll share that maybe another time when I learn the results of those visits to those venues.
Okay. In the meantime, Michael Dante is the author of Winterhawk's Land, an original novella that continues the story of this brave Native American warrior who stood up for his people even as the invasion of progress imposed itself on America. Winterhawk's Land is available wherever books are sold online through our friends at Bear Manor Media. You can order an autograph edition from Michael Dante himself. You can, for more information on how to do that, go to michaeldanteway.com, michaeldanteway.com. Before we forget, Cleanna was played by Dawn Wells in the movie. Dawn also narrated the movie. I think I told you this, Michael. I had a chance to talk to Dawn last week, and Dawn Wells says hello.
Oh, thank you. She's a wonderful lady and a terrific actress. I thought she did a great job, and she's really a great contribution to our business. She has been a fine actress all these years, and then a wonderful person to work with and to be around. She has all the elements of joy when you're making particularly an outdoor production with a lot of action and the elements of snow and rain and cold, like we did in Winterhawk. By the way, Ed, I want to elaborate on a wonderful artist. He is just absolutely brilliant. David Powell. Mm-hmm. I know you mentioned it briefly a few minutes ago, and I want to follow up on his talent. He is one of the fine young painters, sculptors today, and his work is in many galleries throughout Arizona and California, and he is doing terrific work, and he's been so generous. When I asked him about doing some renderings, he was so excited and was happy to contribute to the novella. And I can't tell you how happy and excited and proud I was of his work and his contributions to the book, because the sketches lend so much to the story. It's that visual. People in Westerns have to be visual. They can't be loaded with only dialogue. But when you get a chance to see the characters, the wardrobe that they wore, and get an idea of the men, the types that Winterhawk had to contend with. These were professional killers. They were hired by the railroad because they were the best at what they do, and that was killers. They were just good riflemen, worked with explosives. They did everything that you can think of that they were hired for. And Winterhawk, of course, had to combat those elements. And David sketched these characters, what they, in his creative imagination, what they would look like and how they would dress, that lend to the novella. And everybody that has read it, by the way, we had 5 stars on Amazon the first week. 5 stars the first week.
Well, that's great, because I know a little bit about 5 stars reviews on Amazon, Michael, because those are coming from customers. And when you get 5-star reviews from customers, that spreads word of mouth even more because you're reaching your audience.
And everyone commented on the sketches, how much they appreciated and enjoyed the visual of the sketches as it led to the progress of the story and the introduction of those characters as the story went along. So he inherited, and you don't always inherit a talent from a parent, but Ace Powell was a wonderful artist. He painted with Charlie Russell. They were buddies, and they roamed the Montana Territory, the Blackfoot area, together and painted together. They lived on the reservations together. They were friendly, very friendly with the Native Americans in that territory, in that area. And he was a fine painter. And you would think that a son, you can have a son who maybe his dad was a great painter, and his son turns out to be a hoodlum. In this case, David inherited his dad's talent. He paints just like his father. What a wonderful talent. What a wonderful gift to be able to inherit and then execute and be able to put on canvas and of course sculpture work that David did, and the etchings. That is another area of art that he was gifted with, and he inherited all the wonderful talent that his father had given him since birth. He is so talented. He worked on our film, where I first met David. He worked as a wardrobe designer and set designer. He designed the sets and the wardrobe, and at the same time, his father, Ace Powell, played my father in the original Winterhawk film.
So you have, in addition to you writing the novella Winterhawk's Land, Michael, you've got David, who's another direct line to the movie. So between the two of you, those are 2 direct lines. They give the novella an added bit of authenticity.
Yeah, the dimension. It's another dimension you don't you don't see very often, and they're original. They're not copies of so forth in a book maybe that was printed 50 years ago. These are freshly designed etchings of these characters and the settings, the land, and the lodges in which they lived in, and so forth. So he just made a tremendous contribution, and I'm so grateful that he came aboard and was so happy and proud to do them. And he is really, really a fine talent.
We're talking to actor and author Michael Dante. We'll continue our conversation with Michael after this quick time out here on TV Confidential.
Buying or selling a home can be one of the most stressful things we'll ever do in life, but it doesn't have to be. And no one knows better than our friends at Front Porch Realty Group. They're a community of realtors serving the Northern Bay Area of California that cares about their clients as individuals first and foremost. Whether you're a first-time buyer or looking to lease or sell your property in the Bay Area, Front Porch Realty Group will help you through this important transition by providing you with the right information for your situation while lessening the pain. They also work with a network of realtors throughout California who provide the same high caliber of customer service. Call Front Porch Realty Group at 415-886-7411 for a realtor referral near you. You can also visit their website, frontporchrealtygroup.com, for more information on the services they provide, including upcoming workshops and seminars. For more information, call 415-886-7411 or visit frontporchrealtygroup.com. Front Porch Realty Group. They'll find the solution that works best for you.
Missed a show? We have more than 250 archived editions of TV Confidential available as digital downloads. For more information, go to shop.tvconfidential.net, shop.tvconfidential.net. Ed Robertson here to tell you how you can get a free first ride with Uber, the mobile app that connects you with the ride at the touch of a button in just a matter of minutes. Uber has drivers in cities across the country and around the world, while payment is seamless and cashless. To download the app, go to uber.com and enter the promo code TV Confidential, all one word, and you will receive a free first ride up to $20. To sign up directly with the promo code included, go to get.uber.com/go/TV Confidential, get.uber.com/go/TV Confidential.
Hello, this is Eric Braden. You're listening to TV Confidential. Ooh.
Ed Robertson, author, guest actor, and author Michael Dante. Michael's latest book, Winterhawk's Land, is a sequel to the classic Western film from 1975, Winterhawk, in which Michael played the title role. Winterhawk's Land tells the story of Winterhawk's effort to stop an unscrupulous railroad magnate from building a railroad on Blackfoot Indian territory. The novella also features original sketchings from artist David Powell, the son of Ace Powell, the actor who played Winterhawk's father in the 1975 movie. Winterhawk's Land is available wherever books are sold through Bear Manor Media. You can order an autographed edition of Winterhawk's Land directly from Michael Dante himself. To find out how to do that, go to michaeldanteway.com. Michael Dante has several appearances coming up over the next few weeks. He will also be included in the Fulton County Baseball and Sports Hall of Fame at Parkhurst Field in Gloversville, New York in August 2017. Also coming up in August, Michael will be appearing at the Star Trek convention in Ticonderoga, New York. Joining Michael that weekend will be Nichelle Nichols, Walter Koenig, Lee Merriweather, Charlie Brill, Barbara Luna, and many others. Then in September 2017, Michael will be one of the special guests at the Real Cowboys, REEL Cowboys, 20th anniversary of the Silver Spur Awards. The Real Cowboys event will be held at the Sportsman Lodge in Studio City. For more information on these and other events on Michael's calendar, go to the appearances page at michaeldanteway.com. Let's talk about the novella itself, Michael, because, yes, David, his etchings, they add an extra visual element to the story, but the novella itself, Michael, it reads very much like a movie, and there's a story to that.
Yes, I use that. Normally, Ed, you write a novel, you write a treatment. Let's say you start with a treatment, and then you write a novel from the treatment, and then from the treatment to a book, and then a book to a screenplay. Well, I had written the treatment, and then wrote a rough draft, a first draft of the treatment.
Mm-hmm.
And then at that time, I'm talking about 1978, a couple of years after the distribution of Winterhawk. I had the idea of, I'll see what I can do to seek independent financing for the film, because the studios at that time were really not interested in making a film for $5-10 million and maybe looking at a profit of $5 or $10-15 million in return. They were all after the big budgets, action films, and were looking for blockbusters, a premise that could bring them, even if they had a budget of $50 to $100 million, but they had a potential to be a blockbuster to make $100 or $200 to $300 million at that time, and that was in the started with that attitude in the 80s, and then continued on. So it was very difficult to have studios or any of the independent producers to finance, and particularly a Western. Well, I knew that. I was aware of that. And I said, well, I'll write the screenplay anyway, and let's see if I can seek the independent financing. Well, it so happened I did. The gentleman in Texas, a fellow by the name of Bill Hargis, who was in the oil business, was a big fan of mine and loved Winterhawk. And we met and talked. He had talked about wanting to finance. He had learned that I was going to do a sequel, would like to do a sequel to Winterhawk. He loved the movie so much that he wanted to put his money where his mouth was and finance the picture. Well, cut to the chase, we were ready to go into production, and unfortunately, I lost a good friend. He became a great friend. He had a heart attack and passed away. So we never got off the ground, but we certainly came right up to the starting gate, and unfortunately, Bill passed away and never got the film done. So it was dormant, the whole concept of doing an independently financed picture, and particularly a Western genre. It was very difficult, and is very difficult today because of the action type films, with technology the way it has progressed, special effects, and an actor could just stand there and read lines and have all the action around him, surround him, and he would be the hero to destroy whatever the elements are that are conflicts in the story.
Yeah, I was listening to an interview last week about the director of the Spider-Man movie, and the commentator said basically the director, I mean, this is not meant as a knock on the director, but basically the director was sort of, in a movie like that where it's almost all special effects, you're sort of directing traffic, and you just want to make sure that the one-liners work, because most people are going to see a movie like Spider-Man for the CGI and the special effects. And so the director's job is sort of secondary and the actor's job is secondary. The special effects are primary and the character is secondary, whereas a film like Winterhawk, it's a character story. I mean, you not only have a great, you've got the relationship between Winterhawk and Cleanna, but you create, and especially in Winterhawk's land, you created, even the villains, they're not one-dimensional, Snidely Whiplash type of villains, and each of them have nuances of their own. You're telling a fully fleshed story, and it's harder to get a story like that told as a film these days.
Yes, right. I use a technique, my own. I don't know how much that is runs rampant with writers who write novels and screenplays, but I came up with the idea of, I'm going to write it very close to a screenplay, so it would be very easy to translate from the novella to a screenplay, whomever chooses to, or if I sign an agreement to do the first draft of the screenplay, and then they can take it from thereafter. Usually that's the way it's done.
Mm-hmm.
The writer of the novel gets the first dibs at writing the screenplay, and then they're off and running with rewrites or whatever they want to do to improve the script, hopefully, and get it out to the proper people and attract the actors and director to do the project. Well, in this case, I did the reverse. Here I wrote the screenplay from a treatment, and the next step of my next thought was that, you know what, I'm going to write a book. I'll write the book from the screenplay. It's the same story, mm-hmm. but I can add different things because years went by. I'm older, the characters are older, and there are certain things the characters can do and cannot do that they were able to do 30 years, 40 years previously, whatever it was. And with the sketching, the etchings, too, to contribute to the progression of the story, so that there's a visual with these people, these characters. And yeah, I said, let me I'll write a novella. It'll be about 100 pages, and it will make it easy for anyone to write a screenplay, to adapt the screenplay from the novella. Usually when you write a screenplay numbers range from 110 to 120 mm-hmm. pages. So you figure a minute a page. So 120 minutes, 110 minutes mm-hmm. would be right, just about right for a movie,
right?
A film. The number of minutes and the pages correlate with the number of pages. Plus, I have the license with the games, the tribal games that are going on. I could take as much time to fill in the story with the games, with the action that takes place in the novella, mm-hmm. and to describe things much more in detail than the technique of writing a screenplay. Writing a screenplay is a different technique. There's a lot of shortcuts that you can take, whereby when writing a novel, you have to fill in the cracks mm-hmm. and all those other nuances and time that you spend writing a novel and describing and continuation of the action and the story, first act, second act, and third act. In the screenplay, you have license to cut away. You can cut, you could edit, you could do a lot of things that you can't do when you write a novel. So I said, well, I'm going to write a novel. I wanted to always write a novel, particularly about a sequel to Winterhawk. Mm-hmm. Because of wanting to continue my passion for the character and the people and the story and part of it historical, and share with the people and particularly young people, because the young people, they're not learning about American history like we did. When I was growing up, it was my favorite subject matter, learning about American history. Mm-hmm. Today, they got so many toys, youngsters have so many diversions, and they're not learning about what our forefathers went through, so they can play with their toys many, many years or generations down the road and do things that we weren't able to do when we were growing up. Some are good, some are wonderful, and some are not so wonderful.
Well, and as we said, I mean, at the risk of showing my age, one of the problems with modern filmmaking is, as we alluded to a little while ago, there's a lot of stuff, there are a lot of toys that you use, but you use it at the expense of character in many senses. And with not only Winterhawk the movie, but Winterhawk's Land, the novella. I mean, it's a great story, A, and B, you've got great lead characters and interesting secondary characters. And so,
you hit it right on the head, Ed. I wanted to make these characters dimensional.
Mm-hmm.
Just make sure they have 3 dimensions to them and not one-dimensional characters. So it'd be not only descriptive in the story and interesting and make them all interesting, but attractive to the actors that would like to play these characters. Actors are intelligent enough to know that when they read something that they're interested in playing, you want to see the multi-dimensional sides of the character so they can interpret and then lend to the story with their contribution. So they have a full 360 character that's interesting and very enticing for them to play. So these are all individuals. They all have their character behavior, their idiosyncrasies, and their psychotic, whether it be psychotic, whether it be neurotic, whether it be religious, fanatics. They're all encompassed in these characters that I created. So you're right on. They're just dimensional, and they're interesting, and they're great parts, not just Winterhawk and Clayana. The lead characters, Drago and the Preacher, they're wonderful characters and to play. I know they'll be appealing to a lot of wonderful actors, and of course Clayana, whoever plays Clayana, these characters are dimensional and interesting, and I'm just so happy with the results. And in reading, go back and read it again, and said, you know what, I did everything I wanted to do and put it down on paper, and I achieved that. So I'm very proud of the results.
And it sounds like, if I'm hearing you correctly, Michael, it sounds like now that you have the novella written and published and made available to the public, it sounds like you may, if the opportunity presents itself, you may try to develop the novella into a film. Yes,
that's right now. That's seeking the hardest. This is the hardest part of our business, financing.
Yes, that is true.
Yeah, it's all about money. If I can get the financing for the film, would be wonderful in my lifetime, and see if we can get the film done and keep the West alive, keep this knowledge and the period in American history alive, because we have so many distractions and so many machinations of filmmaking and special effects that are taking us far away from the blazing of the West. And we know that there's so much history there and so much visual beauty in the blazing of the West and the accomplishments that our pioneers made along the way, and then of course the Native Americans and their contributions. It's a part of our culture not to forget, and the only way we could do that is in writing and making films and artwork, and people that should be more enthusiastic. I'm hoping they should graduate to thinking more about financing pictures with America that include American history and historical knowledge that we can all share and want to preserve from one generation to another.
Yeah, and I think Winterhawk's Land would work as an indie film, Michael, because there are stories like this told on film, but again, even as an independent filmmaker, you got to raise the capital, otherwise it'll never get made. But
I've been so encouraged, Adam, by the writing novella. I'm almost finished with my next novella.
Oh, excellent!
Yeah, which is a Western. my editor, I'll be delivering it to my editor pretty soon, and sometime this winter, it hopefully will be out in the following year, 2018. It's called Six Road Home. It's another Western about six horse soldiers at the end of the war, Revolutionary War. Go home to what? It would be as modern as it's today.
Yeah.
If they came home from Vietnam, or if they came home from Afghanistan or Iraq or wherever. You come home to what? The great expectation, or what to expect, and the doubts and the fears of these men that went away for 4 years to fight, and coming home, hopefully to find their families intact and everything intact, because there was no communication in those days. A letter would take months to get from one to another. So being away for 4 years and fighting for a cause and to save their lives, they don't know what to expect when they come home. And then when they come home, there are surprises that are very shocking and not very pleasant. So Six Road Home is a Western. That'll be my next novella. So I'm very, very happy that I have the ability, the talent to continue with this technique and this type of writing. And they're all about 100 pages, and some will have sketches in, some you can, some you can't. And I have some other stories that I have, modern stories that I will do after Six Road Home. So I'll be a busy guy writing with something that I discovered for myself and enjoy and love doing, and want it to be a part of American history that we don't forget. I just hope the young people that don't turn their back on the Westerns and that part of history that really made America, helped to make America what it is today. Freedom is not free. It never was free. And, the things that happened during that period of time in American history, it was violence, it was survival. Everything was about survival. So, but it didn't stop the love and the desire to go west. The story Go West, Young Man.
Yes.
And discover. So the Western, I pray to God, will always survive and do well in our novels and our novellas and our films.
Well, it will, because of people like you who are finding new ways to tell new stories, either through the film medium or through novellas, one way or another. Because when we have new stories to tell, that introduces the genre to the next generation. I want you to promise me that when Six Road Home comes out, that you'll visit us again on our program.
I certainly will, Ed. I would really be very happy to, and proud to share that with you and your audience, your wonderful audience.
We're talking to actor and author Michael Dante. We'll continue our conversation with Michael after this quick time out here on TV Confidential. Missed a show? We have more than 250 archived editions of TV Confidential available as digital downloads. For more information, go to shop.tvconfidential.net, shop.tvconfidential.net.
Story Salon is Los Angeles' longest-running storytelling venue. We have live shows every Wednesday in Studio City, as well as solo shows, podcasts, CDs, and several books. Los Angeles Daily News calls Story Salon Gemstones of Narrative, something new, funny, astonishing. Sunset Magazine says tales tall, tragic, and tantalizing. All of this makes Story Salon one of the most eclectic entertainment experiences available. You can learn more about us by going to our Facebook page or by visiting our website at www.storysalon.com.
Ed Robertson here to tell you how you can get a free first ride with Uber, the mobile app that connects you with a ride at the touch of a button in just a matter of minutes. Uber has drivers in cities across the country and around the world, while payment is seamless and cashless. To download the app, go to uber.com and enter the promo code TV Confidential, all one word, and you will receive a free first ride up to $20. To sign up directly with the promo code included, go to get.uber.com/go/TV Confidential, get.uber.com/go/TV Confidential. The Perpetual Paycheck. 5 secrets to getting a job, keeping a job, and earning income for life in the loyalty-free workplace. The Perpetual Paycheck, now available as an audiobook through audible.com, iTunes, and amazon.com. If you've listened to TV Confidential and like what you've heard, please consider supporting our efforts by becoming a patron of our show through Patreon. It's easy to do and costs as little as $1 a month. For more information, go to patreon.com/TV Confidential or click the Patreon button on the homepage at tvconfidential.net. Ed Robertson, along with our friend Donna Allen Figueroa, who I understand has a new book out.
Yes, it's entitled Fall Again Beginnings. It's the first part of a 4-part contemporary romantic series set against the background of working actors.
Something that you know a thing or two about.
Well, you write what you know, and I have been working in the business for several years.
It is not necessarily autobiographical, but it's based on...
Sure, many of the experiences that the actors in my book have, many have happened to me, many have happened to friends of mine. It's not, if you're looking for Valley of the Dolls, it's not, it's grounded in reality.
It is grounded in reality, and it's the first in a series.
Yes.
Called the Fall Again series.
Fall Again.
Which is available as a paperback as well as an ebook and in Kindle at fallagainseries.com.
Hi, this is Lee Merriweather, and you're listening to TV Confidential.
Ed Robertson, author guest Michael Dante. Michael's latest book, Winterhawk's Land, is a sequel to the classic Western film from 1975, Winterhawk, in which Michael played the title role. Winterhawk's Land tells the story of Winterhawk's effort to stop an unscrupulous railroad magnate from building a railroad on Blackfoot Indian territory. The novella also features original sketchings from artist David Powell, the son of Ace Powell, the actor who played Winterhawk's father in the 1975 movie. Winterhawk's Land is available wherever books are sold through Bear Manor Media. You can order an autographed edition of Winterhawk's Land directly from Michael Dante himself. To find out how to do that, go to michaeldanteway.com, michaeldanteway.com.
Ed, by the way, the film I did, The Naked Kiss, they called me to the producers of the documentary and said The Naked Kiss, the film that I had starred in at Connie Towers, directed by Sam Fuller, the great Sam Fuller. They're doing a documentary of the greatest cult films of all time, and they said that The Naked Kiss is one of the greatest cult films of all time, if not the greatest. So I'm invited to do that. As a matter of fact, next week I'm going into Los Angeles to film what they want to ask me about the film to contribute to the greatest cult films of all time. So I'm excited about that, and this will really get to you. And I'm to be inducted into the Fulton County Baseball and Sports Hall of Fame at Parkhurst Field in Gloversville, New York. The induction takes place in a vintage baseball game played between the Wadley Pioneers and the Western Massachusetts, the A, J, and G of Fulton County. See, when I was a professional ball player, as you know, before I became an actor, and I played for the Gloversville Gloves. That's where they made the gloves in Gloversville, New York. And they had a minor league team, Class C team, that I played with, and I was optioned there, ripe old age of 18, 19, and the founder, Mike Hauser, of the Fulton County Baseball and Sports Hall of Fame, he's hosting the event, and he had been trying to get a hold of me for 2 years, and they're going to induct me into their Hall of Fame because I played there. I was there about 6 weeks, and then our organization, I was a Brave property, and they had a falling out with the Gloversville organization, which was an independent organization that was an affiliate of the Milwaukee Braves organization, and I was sent there along with a couple of other players to play for their team. After they had a falling out, and then I left, and about 6 weeks later, they went bankrupt. The club. They were an independent club, so they had no support from the big league club. So they went out of business, and they tore the ballpark down, and now it's a hardware store. Sets on the ballpark, where the ballpark used to be. And in back of the store is where second base was when they had the ballpark. And they want me to sign the second base bag, which is a tourist attraction, in back of the door. How do you like that? So I'll go there for the ceremony and sign the bag, and that's where, because I played second base and shortstop. I was shortstop, second baseman. So I'll sign the bag in their hardware store, which has been a tourist attraction for many years and will continue to be so. And they'll induct me into the Hall of Fame. And by the way, great company. Jack McKeon, who managed and was the manager of the Miami Marlins
and the
World Series.
Yes, and the Padres and the Oakland A's.
He played for the Gloversville at one time, before me, of course, and then he is inducted in the Hall of Fame. So I'm with pretty good company with that.
You're with very good company, Michael. And I realize this is a fluke of the calendar, but today, as we record this conversation with Michael, it is the day of the 88th Major League Baseball All-Star Game. So I think it's kind of cool that we talk a little bit about your baseball career on the day of the All-Star Game.
Yeah. Oh, it's great. It's the greatest game in the world. It's the only sport in the world, Ed, and the audience, I'm sure most of them never thought of it this way. That's why it's the hardest thing to do and to succeed. It's the only sport in the world where you miss 7 times. If you hit the ball 3 times out of 10, you're a 300 hitter. If you miss 7 times, there's no problem. If you miss 7 times in any other sport, catching or throwing or shooting a basket, you wouldn't last 5 minutes with that.
But like a lot of things in baseball, particular, it's timing. If you get one of those 3 hits in a certain sequence,
3 out of 10, you're a 300 hitter. You're a great ball player.
That's right. And if you and enough of your teammates in the lineup get string enough hits together to do a rally, I mean, then you have a productive inning.
You have a good ball club, and you might win the World Series.
That's right. That's right. We're talking to actor and author Michael Dante. Michael's latest book, Winterhawk's Land, is a sequel to the classic Western film from 1975, Winterhawk, in which Michael played the title role. Winterhawk's Land tells the story of Winterhawk's effort to stop an unscrupulous railroad magnate from building a railroad on Blackfoot Indian territory. The novella also features original sketchings from artist David Powell, the son of Ace Powell, the actor who played Winterhawk's father in the 1975 movie. Winterhawk's Land is available wherever books are sold through Bear Manor Media. You can order an autographed edition of Winterhawk's Land directly from Michael Dante himself. To find out how to do that, go to michaeldanteway.com, michaeldanteway.com. Michael Dante has several appearances coming up over the next few weeks.
And a quick, Ed, I'll be in Ticonderoga a weekend for the Star Trek convention in August, and one of the special guest stars and invited to that convention, which is a very special event. And I'm looking forward to it. That's in August as well. It'll be a lot of wonderful stars will be invited to that. Nichelle Nichols, Walter Koenig, Lee Merriweather, Barbara Luna, Charlie Brill, and it goes on and on, a couple more actors, and that's going to be a great event.
That will be a great event. In the meantime, if you want to learn more about Michael's career in film and television, including the opportunity he had to meet many of his idols from the worlds of music, film, and sports, such as Tommy Dorsey, Edward G. Robinson, James Cagney, Joe DiMaggio, Luke Appling, Nat King Cole, and Lana Turner, pick up a copy of Michael's memoir, Michael Dante, From Hollywood to Michael Dante Way, which you can also find at bearmanormedia.com, amazon.com, and wherever books are sold online. And Michael, we've said this to you before, but we'll say it again. In many respects, the story of your life and the story of your career embodies the great American spirit, in that with hard work, good timing, and a little luck, every now and then you can pretty much achieve anything in your life, and that is a theme that comes up often in your personal journey.
It's a journey, Ed. It's a journey from Hollywood to Michael Dante Way, my autobiography. It's a journey, and it's the last of the contract people. I was one of the last. I was one of the only actor, they tell me, it was under contract to 3 major studios, MGM, Warner Brothers, and 20th Century Fox. I was one of the last of the contract players when all contracts were null and void. All of that was eliminated. The major studios all became the renting studios for the independent producers, and everything changed. The contract players were potential stars in our business, and that was all changed to character actors, character leads, the leading man, and beautiful women. All of that went out the window. It was change of format, and it just the glamour had gone. It was over, and the drug age came into fruition, and in the '60s, and music was different, glamour, everything was different. So this, From Hollywood to Michael Dante Way, is a journey, my journey through that period from, Ed, we're talking 1955 until today.
Yeah, and
I covered a lot of decades.
You cover a lot of decades, and one of the reasons why you pretty much worked nonstop for the better part of 6 decades is that you were able to, look, like an athlete in the middle of a game, if the first couple innings don't do too well, or if you're playing football, if the first quarter doesn't do too well, you make adjustments during halftime. Well, you did the same in your film career, film and television career, actor, that as things changed in the industry, you adapted, and you were able to work pretty much nonstop as a result.
Yeah, because of my versatility, and I wanted to be an actor who had a leading man, who had the ability to go into character. And I achieved that on my level. I was 100% on the nose from achieving exactly and doing exactly what I wanted to do. And I didn't have any problems with emotional problems or any problems, frustration of saying, oh, I could have done this, I could have, should have, would have, would have. I didn't. I did the things that I wanted to do and went about my business. I worked, and I was able to play the good guy and the bad guy, and that's what kept me alive throughout my career. And then, to make the money to pay my bills, which were scanty compared to today's salaries that they get.
Yes.
I did 10 films before I got a $1,000 raise.
Yeah.
I did 10 films today. I'm making $5-10 million a picture.
Yes. Well,
so things have changed. And,
they certainly
I did the things I wanted to do, and I'm proud of that, and I'm happy and emotionally stable, and looking forward to writing my next novel.
And I'm looking forward to having you on when you're ready to talk about Six Road Home. Michael Dante's books include Winterhawk's Land, an original novella that is a sequel to the classic 1975 Western film Winterhawk. He is also the author of From Hollywood to Michael Dante Way, the story of Michael's life and career as a film and television actor. Both Winterhawk's Land and From Hollywood to Michael Dante Way are available at bearmanormedia.com, amazon.com, and wherever books are sold online. If you want a personally autographed edition of either of Michael's books, you can email Michael directly through his website, michaeldanteway.com. I thank you as always for your time, and I'm looking forward to our next conversation.
Me too, Ed. Take care, stay well, God bless, and keep up the good work.
Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back.